There we go. Hi. Hello. Yesterday I talked to an Australian friend of mine, or I joined his group call, and there were talks about emotions and some men who were not able to talk about those and deal with those situations that occur when two people in a relationship has similar issues in standing in that state of mind, in that explosiveness, in that emotional overwhelm. And throughout the day, more and more signs kind of popped up that this was not just in Australia. This is something that happens all over the place in different manners and different situations and in different severities, because some people will allow the emotions to really take over, and they could do things in that situation that they will regret, that can have severe consequences for the relationship or the self-worth of a person, either the person who has the emotional overwhelm or the person who's receiving. There is a lot to be said, but I did have a few tips. Something that happened over my journey that kind of became a practice, and it's stupidly simple, but it is extremely effective. This is where the whole, maybe the simplest solution is the best one. Because over the years, I have been documenting my entire journey. I have thousands of videos from all kinds of situations where I'm overwhelmed, where I'm thinking about things, where I'm in a situation, in a little chapter or a season or whatever happens, in a situation that I have to figure out. And sometimes I just put on the camera, just like now, and I talk to the camera. What happens is that I talk. And that's more or less it. If people don't talk about what they feel, they will have a hard time doing that in the situation where it's needed. You know what I mean? If you are tasked to start talking about your emotions, start talking about what you feel, start talking about what you think, and start talking about things in general, and you're not used to that, and then having to do that on the spot, on the stage, as it were, it adds a few levels of difficulty. But if you document, just put on a camera, be that your phone or your webcam or whatever, and you just record, no need to post it anywhere, but you just talk. You're going to allow that pressure and that, that overwhelm to kind of ease out. You're emptying the cup a little bit. And then you can allow new thoughts and new emotions and new energy in. And over the time, when you just do this, it could take a few minutes, it could take an hour. Sometimes time just becomes this thing that doesn't really matter. An hour just went by and you don't know what happened. But if you just do that and you get into the practice of doing that, you're going to see that as you start talking, your energy levels will start to rise. And at the end of the video, you might get some clarity. And then that's it. That's all you have to do. If you then get to a point where you have to address this when you are on stage, in the situation, in the argument, whatever the case may be, then you're more prepared because you have already talked about it. You've already gone through a few things of what you feel, how you feel, why you feel, and what this is doing to you and for you and all those things. And speaking as a man, this holds so much truth that I've kind of come to just have to accept it. When the man steps, the woman will follow. This means that if you're in a relationship, and if you want that relationship to be better, you got to be better first. You need to start doing that in you, and then that is going to reflect on everyone around you. If you are floundering, if you are shaky, then everything around you will also shake. But if you know who you are, if you know what you feel, if you know how to deal, if you know how to be emotionally stable, then you will see that everything around you will start to find that same stability. Dwayne Dreyer, this Dwayne dude, who was a author of different self-help books, he said in one of his books called, if you change what you see, the thing that you see will change, more or less. It starts within you. And the best way to do that change, to make that happen, is to just do it. To start talking like this. Just speak out. You don't really need a camera either, but if you do, you're going to be able to go back and see your progression. That's a superpower. And I've talked about this before. This is controversial, but I like to be a little bit controversial. I think this is the root of religion. Think about it. If you're going to a church and you are confessing mostly your sins to a person who is the link between you and God, then you are still getting it out. You're sharing, right? If you're doing the same thing with your bed at home, alone, in privacy, you're sitting there, you're still doing it, you're sharing it. The frequencies are leaving your face. It's entering the ethers and the universe. And so you're allowing more to get in because you're getting it out. I think it just comes down to energy. Always. The frequencies that my vocal cords are currently creating for you to understand those frequencies, those sounds. Think about it. They're coming from my face. You're hearing it. You're transcoding. You're coding it. You're encoding it. You're decrypting it. You're understanding it. And then it makes meaning. It makes some sense to you. That's magic. It's leaving me. It's entering you. Yeah, I realize that could be taken in many ways. But the point is, just sharing, having those actual audible frequencies leave your system allows for new frequencies and new energies and new emotions to kind of settle in place, giving you more of a expanded awareness of who you are at your core. This is huge. And it can help so many people because it starts with just talking about it. You don't have to have daily fights and daily discussions about meaningless things. Because if you go back to the same pattern, there needs to be a pattern interrupt at some point, right? That could either be from both of you or one of you having enough and just saying, fuck this. I'm out. I don't deserve this. Or you can come to a place where you can okay, let's talk solutions. Let's talk about what we can do. Let's talk about the fact that we found each other at some point. Then we normed out. We start to balance with each other. And then we start to figure out some stuff that really didn't vibe. So how can we talk about these things to make that alignment beneficial for everyone involved? Especially if it comes down to kids. I know I'm talking in a relationship, couples scenario right now, but this goes for everything. If you were to sit down and just talk to the camera about your goals, and if you don't have one, if you don't have any, get going. Get some goals. And make them huge. Make them a lot bigger than a house. Make them a lot bigger than a fucking thing that you can buy. Make them way more than you can even conceive of, and make them for someone else than you. For the benefit of others, not yourself. Because if you do that, you're going to see that your pursuit in going after your goals is going to benefit other people, which is going to give you more energy to continue following the goals and even expand on them. My whole thing, everything in the Legacy Forge started with a fucking dream of a fire. Just a bonfire. The next step after that was, what if we didn't bring phones to the fire? And then it was like, what if we have a roof over the fire? What if we have walls? We have to keep the roof up with something. And then it just expanded. The more things that got added to it, and the more clarity that came into the vision, the more people started to resonate with the values that supported that. And all of a sudden, you have a movement. It started with talking to the camera. So I'm just saying, everything can change by you changing. And you change by actually starting. By getting started. Just doing this first step. We have a thing called Saga. And it's more or less an accountability program where you are going in and learning, building the habit of sharing, of finding out who you are, Saga stands for self-awareness, growth, and adventure. Now, the whole clue, the whole thing, the whole goal is for you to start sharing it all. So start. Try 3 days. You don't have to make it huge. 3 days. For yourself. Who are you? What do you want? As you're going through this, and you don't have to really think about what to talk about if you're in a situation where you're fucking overwhelmed, all the better, because you're in the situation. You're just talking about what you are feeling. And try to just talk. Don't care about what you're saying. Just say it. Get it out. And after a while, you're going to see that you're going to get more clarity. You're going to speak more freely. You're going to be more in tune with what you actually mean and who you are. And from there, you're going to see that all the things that you actually want, the things that you say, oh shit, I have to fix this thing, is just side effects from doing that simple thing. It doesn't have to be hard. It's paradoxically simple. So don't make it hard. I think that's all I wanted to say. No need to make it longer than it has to, right? Love your face. Take care of your family. If the website is down and you want to meet other like-minded people, go into the Discord server. If that is unreachable in some way, because we do tend to keep this sacred, reach out. We're going to send you a link and we're going to get you in there. But it starts with that simple thing. Just start sharing. For you. You don't have to publish. You don't have to do anything other than just do the thing. See you in the next one.